Descendant Supernatural on behalf of God Mode MMA. I felt the need to shoot this video on behalf of the humiliating defeat that occurred with Ronda Rousey last weekend. The martial arts world is devastated. Everybody's acting like they didn't see it coming, and it just astonishes me that there's so many decorated athletes who act as if they really were oblivious to this happening. So I want to just talk about and highlight the most important factor that may have played a role in her loss, and that has played a role in previous losses of champions in particular, and where this could be poisonous for the sport as well as the growth of the athlete. So let's talk about badass cornermen and yes men and bad investors that that don't have worthy opinions, within the discipline that you may be listening to them in. So we all know that Ronda Rousey has a lot of favoritism with the UFC, you know, and they marketed her a certain way. They marketed her out to be this unbeatable woman. They call her the baddest woman on the planet, which is a very far-fetched title when you're not even fighting everybody on the planet, and I mean, I don't even have to go all there, but they throw a lot of crazy titles around that boost up these fighters' egos and make them feel that there's something that they're not. So we have to really analyze who we listen to, who we allow into our corners, and what type of encouragement that we're going to feed into. Um, we all know that she's one of Dana White's pets. Dana White has always marketed her, a little better than he markets a lot of other martial artists who may be more talented, who are normally more talented than her, and previous artists that he's shown favoritism to. He's also shown favoritism to the likes of Chael Sonnen and the John Joneses and a lot of other people who do have worthy competition in their classes, but it may not be marketable for one reason or another. So you have to understand that the UFC is a business. They are not the Hall of Martial Arts. They are not the staple for martial arts. That's not the place to go to validate yourself as a martial artist. And this is where so many people mess up. They feel like the opinions of these people that's involved with those three letters is everything martial arts based. You have to realize that UFC is a business. This is the same organization that gave Brock Lesnar, a fake wrestling superstar. They call it pro wrestling, but fake wrestling superstar, a title shot in less than 5 fights. His record was pathetic, but they made a marketing decision to put somebody who was underprepared in a seat and try to make them a legend, so to speak. So you got to really realize and pay attention to that these people will do whatever makes them look good as long as it brings in the big bucks. And I think that Ronda Rousey really allowed Dana White in her ear, really let her corner and everybody that was around her hype her up to believe that she was really the baddest woman in the planet when she's so far from it. First off, this is mixed martial arts. Keyword martial arts. In order for this to be considered an art, you have to do something that is non-duplicable, or you have to be very highly proficient and illustrate such a masterful type of performance that they can call this an art. And the the main thing of the martial artist, the main tool of the martial artist is his mindset, his or her ability to never be discomforted. You have to become one with the environment. You have to become one with all the circumstances that the environment may throw at you. And when you're a champion level martial artist, there should be minimal avenues where you should be discomforted. You know, she should not have looked like such a toddler after she started getting punched in the face. So we're not talking about just a regular loss. We're talking about a champion getting exposed. We're talking about somebody who they built up to this hype, who they called this, who they made the savior or the patriarch of this. And when they got up against a certain fighter, they started looking this small. Let's talk about how they built up Rashad Evans. Rashad Evans was on probably about a 15 fight win streak before he fought Lyoto Machida. He had a very impressive knockout victory over Chuck Liddell, and everybody just looking like, oh my God, I can't believe he knocked out Chuck Liddell. Nobody, probably not a single soul, sat there and really analyzed the fact that Chuck Liddell's hands is always down, his head is always directly up, his head movement is at a complete negative, he never moves from the center line, his chin is very accessible. So if you're a real fighter, you're going to know that really truthfully you can knock this guy the hell out. But the casual fan who listens to everything that the UFC markets and takes Dana White's opinion as gold when he doesn't have a worthy opinion in the sport, um, they're going to see it as a damn near an unachievable feat. So then you got Rashad Evans listening to all these people. Yeah, he knocked out the Iceman. Yeah, that's good. Excuse me. Yeah, that's good, but there's too many fighters out here who don't fight like the Iceman. He met opposition. He met a different type of mindset in Lyoto Machida. And when I put my money on Machida and everybody else was coming at me like, oh man, I can't believe who has Machida knocked out, man? Who has he done this? Who has he done that? And I'm like, man, it's the mindset. It's a difference. You know what I'm saying? Machida is a calculated fighter. Rashad has too much aggression and too much ego, and it's just going to play into Machida's favor because aggression can be used against you, but calmness cannot be used against you. This is the reason why you've seen Anderson Silva have so much success, Machida have so much success, and other fighters, Fedor Emelianenko, or Jose Aldo, they don't come to the ring with these emotions. They don't run out to the ring with this mean face, the Ronda Rousey face, and all this aggression, acting like they're going to smack your kids, knock all your teeth out your mouth, and do all these horrible things to you. They don't have that type of ego or built up attitude that normally comes from media deception and trickery, trying to make you believe that somebody's tougher than what they really are. You can't even read these guys' faces. Ronda Rousey doesn't have that same attitude. She doesn't have the martial artist mindset. And this is why when she met a martial artist, she got mopped up, and then ended up looking like somebody that nobody knows her for. And then you got people talking about this was a stage fight. If this was a stage fight, by all means, please give her an Oscar right now because she made that damn acting look very good. The way she made herself look, for anybody to make themselves look that bad, if they're acting, please get her an award immediately. But this is the reason why, these yes men and these bad coaches and cornermen and unworthy opinions, you have to make sure and I'm talking to martial artists now and anybody who competes in the competitive sport, you have to make sure that you have the right criticism. You're listening to the right people. Some people don't want to hurt your feelings, or they may feel like that your horse that the high horse that you're on is maybe a little too high, that they feel like their opinions may not be credible. They maybe her corner was too intimidated to tell her that, yeah, Ronda, your judo's great, but your striking sucks. You really need to focus on boxing. Everybody knows that you're good at throwing somebody like this or doing that, so why not add this to your arsenal so we can really make this judo more unpredictable, more impressive, and really make it work for you in this fight that's coming up. Nobody was telling her that. After she got her ass beat in that first round, she sat in the corner, and the first thing her corner man tells her is, "You're doing great," or "You're good job," or something to that effect. That was the worst advice you could have ever gave her, because once a fighter loses the ability to get better, another fighter gains the ability to get better than you. So when you're listening to people that's always telling you that, oh, this looks good, that looks good, and they're never giving you any negative feedback, especially in this type of sport, you can't afford to listen to these type of people because they can drive you into a detrimental situation that you can't recover from. And the loss that she took is one that she's not going to be able to recover from for a long time, because she needs to go back to the drawing board and unlearn how to fight, unlearn the things she's been taught. Don't get me wrong, she's very proficient at judo, but only at judo. There's so many other arts that people could bring into this ring. And now she's facing, she faced a fighter who was smart enough not to play into her strengths, not to stay on the ground with her. Don't let her grab me. Don't let her this, don't let her that, and make her run into punches all night long until eventually knock her ass out. And that's what occurred, and you're talking about champions getting exposed. We've seen this happen with Rashad Evans. We've seen this happen with Brock Lesnar, and now you're seeing it happen with Ronda Rousey. And no, she does not deserve an immediate rematch because she did not make it even a close fight. But however, we know that the UFC's has lackluster talent in the women's division. When you have 7, 8 women that keep on going out to arm bars. So maybe there's nobody else for Holly Holm to fight, But at the end of the day, no, I don't think she deserves an immediate rematch. But hey, that's another story. Any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave your responses at the bottom of my video. I will respond back to you promptly, and I have more opinions, more very valuable opinions on situations that concern MMA. But I'm going to stop it at the 10-minute mark. Stay away from the bad corner, man. Stay away from the bad coaches. Stay away from the yes, man. This is Send the Supernatural on behalf of God Mode MMA. I'm logging out.